Welcome back, everybody. I am the Jimmer. This is the Propane 1 million RP King of the Hill Championship. It's going to be episode 12, featuring the Tank Ranger by Poldarn. This is a triple entry. Each of these little Tank Rangers is identical to the other. The only difference is the paint. And this is going to be our first championship battle of season 2. These Tank Rangers are going to be going up against the Omega Nightmare by Scarlet Devil, and the winner of this battle will be the king. The Tank Ranger by Poldarn is hoping to unseat the current king, the Omega Nightmare by Scarlet Devil. Let's get this battle sped up and underway. Already see a huge explosion. Looks like that Blue Ranger just got lit up. Let's get a damage report. Yeah, Tank Ranger... Oh, what? We only have one Tank Ranger left. How did that happen? Really? Wow. Yeah, all but looks like whatever shells that Omega Nightmare is firing are just insane. Able to cut through all these shields, and AI dead the Tank Rangers pretty much immediately, instantly there. Not really sure how that happened. And the Omega Nightmare is just fine at 100%, going kind of far out there. I mean, so far it hasn't been a problem, but very risky doing that. If it takes too much damage, it may end up going out of range for the 2-minute time limit, and then unfortunately it could lose to that. No, go away. Yeah, coming right back in range, so not getting anywhere near that that time limit just yet. And it looks like we actually saw some hits landing there. Saw some of the little flak bursts. And please correct me if that's not flak. I was assuming it's flak, but that could also be HE. I'm not sure how you tell the difference. See that missile strike, a little bit nerfed from the game version on the Scarlet Dawn, but still deadly if it connects. Unfortunately for the Omega Nightmare, all those missiles were distracted by flares. And once again, taking this long approach. Getting a little bit of lag with all the missiles in the air. And let's see how this bombing run goes. There we go. Doors are open, and there come the missiles. That was a perfect run. There go all the missiles towards some flares over here, harmlessly diving into the ocean. I wonder, it seems to me like flares at this point, the flares are just a little bit overpowered. As you can see, I mean, pretty much everybody is using this similar tactic where you're just kind of pooping out a flare every couple seconds, and that's enough to prevent 99% of missiles from hitting you. Maybe just add maybe like a random number thing to it where missiles have like a distribution of how likely they are to be distracted by a flare. So we can still see, one or two missiles, maybe out of 10 or 20 missiles, maybe like 10 or 15% of the missiles, actually will connect, even if there's a ton of flares around. As it sits, I mean, you just pop out a few flares, and you're pretty much invulnerable. So far, this Tank Ranger doing just fine. I wonder if what happened last time is the Omega Nightmare shells went through those Tank Rangers before their shields were up. The Tank Rangers were spawned in first, but it still takes a few seconds for the shields to come all the way on. And I was fairly quick in loading them both in, so they were within a second of each other real time. Because this one is not really taking any damage, it's doing just fine here. Able to hold its own, even I would say at this point it's winning. It's at 100%, the Omega Nightmare is down to 99. That is just so fun to watch. I just love that you have the flyover and you see the doors open, and it's just sort of, you get that feeling in your gut, like, man, here it comes, and before you can really even retaliate, it's just gone in the distance. I gotta say, the Omega Nightmare definitely lives up to its name. Very, very terrifying. I've been using the in-game version for testing. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a fairly good opponent to practice on if you're planning to dethrone the Omega Nightmare here. And every time, it just strikes terror in my heart. Watching it fly over, and you're just preparing for that missile barrage to just land and completely decimate your ship. And a lot of times the flares will work, but every once in a while it will get through anyway and just totally wreck your day. The day wrecking potential of the Omega Nightmare, it's 10 out of 10. Not quite as many missiles that time. I wonder if it is running low on metal. It may not have the metal reserves to continue the output, which could also prove disastrous for repairs. Right now, this lone Tank Ranger is just slowly whittling away. It's not really doing enough to down the Omega Nightmare, but if it continues to whittle, it might actually deplete all of the metal resources, and that little pack damage will start adding up. And this Tank Ranger is just fine. It's at 100%. I'm not worried at all. Are they? I'm not seeing. Are they not shooting? They may both be out of metal. They're very low in metal anyway. Oh, there we go. It's firing again. Maybe just too high in the air, not able to get a bead on it. Oh, I did not. Once again, I failed to start a timer. But I think we've got about 7 more minutes in this until we hit our time limit. Or that's what I'm going with. It's 7 minutes from now, at least. I don't think anybody minds if a battle like this goes a little long. And there's a lot on the line here. The prestige of being the propane King of the Hill champion, riding in the balance. I'd much rather this end decisively as opposed to having to use my judge's call. Missiles that time. It looks like the Omega Nightmare is having metal problems, and the Tank Ranger doesn't appear to be having those problems. It's still just popping out flares, and every time the Omega Nightmare gets in range, it is blinking away. So let's get a damage report. So far, not doing enough damage to take out the Omega Nightmare though. Tank Ranger 100%, Omega Nightmare 99%. Let's get a view from the Omega Nightmare. Maybe try and follow it in. It's so fast, it's hard to keep up with it on the camera. It slows down for the turn, makes the turn, and comes back for this attack run here. But this is the point where it's so fast I cannot keep up. And once again, I did not see any missiles. I'm not sure if maybe I'm just missing them, but I don't think they're coming. And we see just a little bit there. There's maybe 3 or 4 hits from the Tank Ranger coming in and landing on the B zone of the Omega Nightmare there. Omega Nightmare slowing down to make its turn, and then going to go for another pass. I'm not sure, are its regular cannons firing? I haven't heard it. You can see they're aiming, but it's definitely not firing. I wonder if it must just entirely oh, did we miss some important damage there? Oh no, it looks like it was just the angle. It kind of looked like this guy was bobbing in the water, but now we get down here. No, he's just fine. Just hanging out. You got your cannons? Yeah, he's still got his cannons. He's doing Tank Ranger stuff. Alright, Tank Ranger 100, Omega 99. It looks like we probably have hit the time limit there. And both these entries were depending on ending probably at the time limit there. So we'll give it, I say we'll give it 3 more minutes. And then I will make a call here, depending on who is winning at that point. Right now, it looks like it actually. I was almost going to say I'd have to give it to the Tank Ranger, but no. Unfortunately, the Tank Ranger had 2 friends with it that were taken out. So right now, the Tank Ranger entry would be at 33%, and the Omega Nightmare would be at 99%. But we'll let it keep going here. I think another 2 or 3 minutes, and see if this Tank Ranger is able to maybe get a good shot in there and set off something explosive. I think the Omega Nightmare just ran out of fuel. How far away is it? Oh no, it's okay. It's within range, so I don't think we have to worry about that. And this Tank Ranger is running it down. It's going straight towards it. Oh, this... I should have had a clock on this. That's just been... The battles have just been so fast. I think we got about maybe a minute, minute and a half left. And, oh, it looked like it disappeared there for a second. Yeah, it's just taking the damage, but I don't think the Tank Ranger has enough time. It's got to get this all the way down to 33%, and it has less than a minute to do so. Alright, and there we go. So that is the time limit. And as we can see, the Omega Nightmare is down at 85%. But we had 3 Tank Rangers to begin with, and we only have 1 left. So that's going to be a 33%. So the Omega Nightmare is going to win the first round, but very close. And let's get this reset and see how the next battle goes. It was really strange in that last battle, 2 of the Tank Rangers just instantly were knocked out, and then that last Tank Ranger held its own, you know, one on one against the Omega Nightmare until the time limit. So we're just kind of wonder, you know, what happened there. That was so strange. You know, those other 2 getting knocked out so quick. Oh, it's up. Alright, and let's get battle number 2 underway. I'm going to speed things up, and I have a timer for this battle, if it comes to that. And yeah, there we go. See, this time, it looks like the shells are being blocked. And let's see if anything happens with this initial missile strike. Now it looks like the flares are doing their work. Yeah, it's so strange. Let's get a damage report. Yeah, we have all 3 Tank Rangers this time. One's a little bit hurt at 97, but nothing serious. And Omega Nightmare 100%. So this should be a much tougher battle for the Omega Nightmare. I mean, it just barely won, you know, one-on-one against one of these Tank Rangers, and now it's got 3 of them to deal with. Man, this is really laggy. Not sure what's going on with that. Omega Nightmare is going way out there, about a little over 2 kilometers away before circling back. And let's see, let's actually follow the Omega Nightmare in if we can, see if any of these flak shells are going to land. Oh yeah, it's a definite rain of shells up here. Doesn't look like too many got through though. Follow the missile strike down. Looks like all these missiles are going way off track, going for flares. Yeah, those flares are just so powerful right now. Yeah, I think it might be all of these. Actually, all these flares. So these are all constantly popping out flares. So we've got 100, 200 flares over here just bobbing in the water. I think that might be slowing down our game a little bit here, as well as all the missiles from the Omega Nightmare. That's like a desktop wallpaper right there. That's magical. Yeah, it's still just running so slow here. Looks like the Omega Nightmare is in trouble, all the way down to 92%. One of the Tank Rangers at 75, the other two still at 100%. But as we saw in the last fight, even one of these Tank Rangers is dangerous, so if we lose one, the Omega Nightmare will still have a serious fight on its hands. And it appears to be faltering here. It is slowed considerably. It's just kind of hovering in the air right above these Tank Rangers. It does not want to be here. It's going to be eating a lot of shots, but it looks like it may have taken out another Ranger. Oh wow, this is going to be a very decisive conclusion here. The Omega Nightmare, drops bombs, takes out two of the Tank Rangers, but then falls in the water in front of the last Tank Ranger. And this little yellow Ranger is hell-bent on revenge, just unloading. Oh, but it takes a shot in return. Serious damage coming in. Oh, wow. That was a great finish. But unfortunately for Poldarn, that is the finish. And its Tank Ranger was good enough to make it to the top of the mountain, but was unable to defeat our current champion. Congratulations to Scarlet Devil. Your Omega Nightmare is proving to be a terror here in Season 2. And I want to say thanks again to Poldarn for submitting your Tank Ranger. Really appreciate all these craft you've been submitting. Very cool to watch and very, very fun. And as we saw there, doing really well. I seriously thought you were going to be able to take out the Nightmare there. Getting very close. And unfortunately falling short right at the top of the hill. But I'm sure we'll see you again in future episodes. I believe we've got another submission for our next episode, and hopefully be some more exciting battles. If you want to see some more battles like this, go ahead and click on that next video.